and share, record.
That's what they think. Twinkle, twinkle. Okay, Mommy?
Okay.
Okay, I got
Record to
That's
face. No.
That's a minute.
Record.
Oh, it seems to have been recording the whole time. Is it recording?
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay. So here we go. You ready? Ready to start? Okay. Not till I say it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to bedtime story time. Yay! Today we're going to read Who's That Sleeping on My Sofa Bed? Just getting a picture up. Do you want to do the share again? Oh, there we go. Too far back. There we go. Who's that sleeping on my sofa bed? And it's a story about, what's it a story about? What mitzvah? Hachnasas Urchan, having guests, being hospitable, hospitality. You ready? You ready to hear the story? And Moshe is going to turn the pages for me today. You ready? Good thing you could look there as well. So, Yoni loved the blue sofa from the moment the delivery men carried it into the den and placed it under the big picture window. As soon as the men left, he pounced on the huge cushions. Yoni block, said his mother. Take it easy or the stuffing will pop out. So Yoni took it easy, stretching out lengthwise from head to toe. He looked up and watched the ceiling fan spinning around. Yep. That night, Yoni said Shema, but he couldn't fall asleep. His feet hung over the edge of his small bed. When he tried to stretch out his arms, one got stuck and the other fell over the side. There weren't any extra beds in the house where Yoni could sleep. Even guests couldn't sleep over. Nope. Yoni grabbed his pillow and the fuzzy blanket his grandmother had knitted for him when he was a baby. He headed for the den. The door was wide open, and his mother was sitting there on the new sofa. Can't sleep, said Yoni. To the beach. His mother stood up and showed him a surprise hidden in the sofa. She took off the bottom cushions. Yoni helped her lift up the metal bar, and out popped a full-size bed. Right. Yoni could hardly believe his eyes. The sofa bed was much bigger than his own bed. He climbed in between the cool sheets and spread out his arms like branches of a tree. As the breeze from the ceiling fan ruffled his hair, Yoni fell fast asleep. Turn page. The next night, Yoni decided to sleep on the sofa bed again. He changed in pajamas and marched down to the den. This time his father was there. Can I sleep on the sofa bed? Yoni asked. Not tonight, said his father. Why not? Asked Yoni. It's a surprise, asked Mr. Blobs. So Yoni climbed into his own little bed. His feet hung over the edge and he couldn't stretch out his arms. Oh my, to the beach. The next morning, Yoni said Maida Ani, washed his hands and ran downstairs. The door to the den was closed, so Yoni knew that someone was in there. Yoni's father had already come back from shul. Who's been sleeping in my sofa bed? Asked Yoni. A rabbi from Eretz Yisrael, said Mr. Block. He's collecting tzedakah for his yeshiva, and he needed a place to stay. Does that mean I can't sleep on the sofa bed tonight? That's right, said his father, handing Yanni a bowl of green and red apples. But I'm going to let you bring this to the rabbi. Isn't it nice to have a guest? Yanni wasn't sure, but since the door was now open, he walked into the den and put down the bowl of apples. To the beach. Next to the sofa bed stood a tall man with a broad smile. Good morning, said the rabbi. What's your name? I'm Yoni. Nice to meet you, Yoni. I have a student in my school named Yoni. Would you like to see what he looks like? Okay, said Yoni. So after he and the rabbi folded the bed back into its hiding place, they sat down on the sofa and looked at pictures of the other Yoni and his friends in Eretz Yisrael. The rabbi said a bracha and bit into a green apple. Yoni said a bracha and ate a red one. Then they laughed at a picture of two boys who were making funny faces. To the beach. The next day, the rabbi left. Yoni missed him, but he couldn't wait to sleep on the sofa bed again. That night, Yoni marched downstairs with his pillow and fuzzy blanket. His parents were busy in the den. Can I sleep on the sofa bed? He asked hopefully. Not tonight, said Yoni's mother. Why not? Asked Yoni. It's a surprise, asked Mrs. Whoops, wrong voice. It's a surprise, answered Mrs. Block, kissing him on the forehead. To the page. So Yoni marched back upstairs, climbed into his bed, and stayed awake for a very long time. The next morning, he ran downstairs. Again, the door to the den was closed. Yoni could tell that someone was in there. His mother was preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Who's been sleeping on my sofa bed? Asked Yoni. A cipher who writes mezuzahs, answered Mrs. Block. He'll be checking all the mezuzahs in town. Isn't it great that he can stay with us? Yoni wasn't sure. He davened and ate breakfast. Yoni's mother handed him a bowl of grapes to bring to their guest. When Yoni tiptoed into the den, the cipher was already working. The sofa bed was folded up and away. Mezuzahs were spread out on the desk in front of him. Good morning, Yoni. Would you like to write your name with a quill? Okay, said Yoni. The cipher dipped the tip of a feather into shiny black ink. He held Yoni's hand as they wrote all the letters in Yoni's name. On some of the letters, they drew a little crown. Yoni and the cipher were so busy, they forgot to eat the grapes. The cipher stayed only one night. Yoni was sorry to see him go, and he missed the rabbi too. But maybe tonight he could sleep on the sofa bed. To the beach. Right after supper, Yoni got into his pajamas. He even remembered to brush his teeth. Then, with his pillow and blanket, he marched downstairs. Please, Yoni called to his parents, can I sleep on the sofa bed tonight? Not tonight, said Mr. Block. He boosted his son up onto his shoulders and gave Yoni a ride upstairs. The ride was fun, but it wasn't fun trying to fall asleep. His bed seemed to be getting smaller every day. Oh my goodness, was he growing, you think? Turn the page. The next morning, Yoni ran straight to the den. Even before he got there, he could hear someone singing on the other side of the door. Who's that singing on my sofa bed? Asked Yoni. A chassan from Chicago, said Yoni's mother. He's getting married tomorrow. Yoni's eyes grew wide. Can I go to the wedding? Sorry, only your father and I are going. She handed Yoni a bowl of fruit. But it's a mitzvah to make a chassan happy, said Mrs. Block. Isn't it nice that we have a sofa bed so guests can sleep over? Yoni wasn't sure. He put the bowl of fruit on his head and walked back to the den. The door was already open. Hey, said the chassan as he folded the bed back into the sofa. You'd be great dancing at my wedding. He grabbed Yoni's hand and hummed a lively tune.
They have the same
As they
colors.
danced round and round in front of the blue sofa. It was almost as good as dancing at a real wedding. Then the chassan said a bracha and ate a plum. Yoni said a bracha and bit into a banana. Turn page. The next night, the house seemed so quiet. Yoni missed the chassan. He missed the sofa and he missed the rabbi too. But maybe tonight he'd finally get to sleep in the sofa bed. Yoni changed into his pajamas, brushed his teeth, and marched downstairs with his pillow and fuzzy blanket. His parents were standing in the den, all dressed up for the wedding. Please, begged Yoni. Can I please sleep on the sofa bed tonight? Sure, answered Mrs. Block. Of course, answered Mr. Block. Yoni was so excited as he helped his father take off the cushions and lift up the metal handle. Turn the page. He jumped between the cool sheets, said Shema, and stretched out his arms. His mother closed the door halfway. Now he was the guest sleeping on the sofa bed. Suddenly, there was a knock at the front door. Yoni heard his father open it and say, Hi, Ma. That meant Yoni's grandmother had come to babysit. Yoni listened quietly. Turn page. Shh. I brought a few things in my suitcase so I can sleep over, said Bubby Block. Now you can stay at the wedding as late as you like. Thanks, Ma, said Mr. Block. I'll just carry Yoni up to his own room so you can sleep on the sofa bed. Don't wake him, said Bubby Block. I can sleep in Yoni's bed. I think it's too small for you, said Yoni's mother. I'll be fine, his grandmother answered. Let Yoni sleep. But Yoni wasn't really sleeping. He was lying on the comfortable sofa bed with his arms spread out like branches of a tree, watching the ceiling fan spin round and round. Yoni thought about his grandmother trying to sleep, scrunched up in his little bed. He thought about his grandmother's feet hanging way over the edge of the bed and her arm getting stuck. Yoni gathered up his pillow and his blanket and ran to hug his grandmother. Turn page. Was that funny?
Yeah.
Hi, Bubby, he said. Aren't you sleeping yet? She asked. No, said Yoni. I want you to have the sofa bed tonight. Are you sure? Asked Yoni's father. Are you sure? Asked Yoni's mother. Yoni was very sure. Bubby is my guest, he said. She should sleep on the sofa beds. I think you're growing up, said Yoni's father. Maybe it's time to get you a bigger bed. Yoni smiled, kissed everyone goodnight, and marched straight to his room. He climbed into his own little bed, closed his eyes, and imagined the surprise he prepared for his guest in the morning. A giant bowl filled with red and green apples, bananas, plums, and grapes. The end. So what did Yoni do? He wanted to sleep in the sofa beds, but in the end, he did the mitzvah, and who did he let sleep in it?
His grandmother instead of
His
Yeah,
grandmother, his bubby.
Instead
That's
of getting
right.
Yeah, Bobby is sleeping in his bed.
Yeah, she was thinking of him sleeping in her, sleeping of her sleeping in his bed, and it was too. It was too small, right?
Yeah.
So. So, what do we learn from this story? That it's a big mitzvah to have guests.
Just like
Right, and even if you don't have room for them to sleep over, you can have them for meal or for Shabbos. There's lots of different ways of having guests, right? So that's the mitzvah we learn about today. Now we're going to sing our bedtime songs before everybody falls asleep. And then we're going to say bye-bye till next week. You ready? First we're going to sing Twinkle, twinkle, kochavim, shining in the shamayim. If you say Shema today, everything will be okay. If you say Shema tonight, everything will be all right. You know, it's not muted, so they can hear you're not singing. Okay, everybody take your right hand. That's this one. And we're going to cover our eyes for Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'yafta es Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'edecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veisecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shachbecha v'kumecha u'kshetam ni'es al yadecha v'hayu netaytafos b'neinecha u'v'savtam al mizuzos b'eisecha u'v'shavah. Good time, it's bedtime story time. Everyone's so tired. Night night everybody. See you next week. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.